See what's up. Let me try. Calling mommy. Hello? Hello?
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
Chris.
Oh, good to hear that everything's
Um,
okay. I was a little worried after I tried calling a few times.
uh, it's,
Well, I know things get busy, and I was like, it's November. Wasn't my mom's birthday? Oh yeah, and then I'm like, oh man, October. My bad, not November.
yes, thank you. Wish that you,
Yeah, a little late, but
uh, you're breaking up a lot.
here, let me.
Huh? Am
Okay.
I breaking up on your end?
No, not too. A little bit. But, I think is that better?
Yeah,
Some,
that seems to be better. Uh-huh.
yeah, sometimes it takes a little 30 seconds to a minute for it to kick in, like like the data, like buffers and stuff like that. Oh,
Uh-huh.
in any case, so
How are you doing?
I'm doing reasonably okay, I suppose you could say. I mean,
Yeah, I missed you.
considered.
Been thinking a lot about just trying to write you a message.
I know how
I
that
wasn't
goes.
sure how I
I know exactly how that goes. It's like, sometimes it's like, okay, no, let's put it this way. Certain things is like, it's so much things to say, you don't know where to start, of course. That's one big one for me. Uh, and then there's other things
uh-huh.
like, it's been a couple of years. Obviously, the detective person and who was supposedly handling my case with the baseball bat, attempted murder situation and everything else, Well, I mean, basically, supposedly that, his whole, I've been really, having a hard time even going back to look at his message and kind of like simply break it down without sounding like a crazy person or anything else and express my frustrations and, etc., just like that. Um, Technically, today's a good day to do that because it just so happens, the yellow house that I moved into once upon a time, when I first
Uh-huh.
moved out here, yeah, the landlord Richard, very angry. I mean, there's been a little bit of violence in that, dealing with getting her out of there, so to speak, and everything else. So, and then Swagger stops by at the little Neenak market over here, the little tiny marketplace, and they're having like the whole city council meeting thing going on over there. He's like nicknamed the mayor of Neenak because he owns the most property out here, I suppose you could say. Like chances are, if you're
Yes.
renting, he's probably your landlord. He owns a lot of places, basically. Anyways, so he's having a major problems with you know who, and so I guess they were all
Uh-huh.
talking about John and his mulch as well, and big problem in the community. So between those two things, Edgar walks in there and he's like, "Oh my, what did I just walk into?" But yeah, they're just trying to do their thing, and I'm like, a perfect opportunity to blindside with my thing back into the equation because I'm not sure about statute of limitations on attempted murder, but I do have. I need to like explain what in between the last 2 years of where it left off, like something along the lines of sequestered or bullied or otherwise, something that's sensible enough that doesn't get too out of disproportionate. Just keep it simple enough. Not going too emotional either, etc.
Yeah.
But so far,
Okay.
today is my last. I don't know why I'm obsessed with the last minute thing, but today was the last day to. Technically, my last day to renew was last month. I was supposed to like send it in like November 5th or something, but I ended up somehow
Uh-huh.
reading something about December 31st at the latest, and I'm like, And then I was like, well, I got to like at least the end of the month, and then it says, of course, something along the lines of as long as it's the first business day of the following month, you should be okay. But I still need to call them up and check if there's another piece of. I think I need to like write down that I something like income statement, something along those lines. and then SAR 7 semi-annual reporting form or whatever, I guess. Long story short is bottom line is that I got some progress, and I've been playing with these rocket stove things. That's yeah. It was a little disappointing yesterday trying out a couple of new things, and well, let's just put it this way: one might say I'm not very safe. It's something that could be
I
said.
don't like
Well,
hear
well,
that.
I'm safe enough that I don't got no problems considering what I'm doing, but on one hand, self-defense measure. One of my
But
stoves kind of
but
turned
but
into a rocket. That was kind of cool. I got on video. I mean, basically, I was trying. So basically, I have these little alcohol stoves that I make out of beer cans, and I was making a little bit taller one. And when I started to prime it, but then I kind of built it a little bit different design, and I didn't. That was probably it was kind of like almost a common sense thing. Like, okay, well, if you put the beer can into the thing, but it did have vents, you know what I mean, on the top for the stove part. So thinking no problem, but I had it tilted down to try to get the flame kind of heating up the alcohol to vaporize. However, the vaporizing went into what I used. I was trying something new with a dog food can, but I guess I wasn't sure what I was trying. But I was trying to keep it hotter longer or something. So, anyways, the point is the vapor built up in the chamber behind the beer can, which is technically upside down. So I was kind of using the little mouth part to kind of let the alcohol have a secondary reservoir is what it was supposed to be. But that's not what happened. What happened was the alcohol vaporized into the rear chamber of the dog food can. And then as I was priming it, the flame caught a little leaky gas from the edge of the lip of the dog food can. Not perfectly sealed, but that's okay. And it went boom real quick. Just a little one, not really that big. But I mean, just saying, it's like now I'm gonna do that outside, of course. But yeah, it was just
does it
mostly
burn
priming.
so much?
Well, it's just that these alcohol stoves, you gotta prime them first. So basically, I take like a little ring to kind of create an outer chamber and an inner chamber, and I've been experimenting with the holes on the inside and the outside. And then there's this thing, tornado flames, smokeless stove thing. And some of the materials, like I said, aluminum cans are not very durable, and dog food cans are a little more, but I mean, no problem. Like and the can didn't like explode either. It just sort of shot out like a large bullet. But that's useful because it's good to
Yeah,
have it's good to have homemade
a
weapons
large
like such.
bullet.
I think
Did
it's
it hit?
no, it didn't, no. I was holding. So what I was doing was I was holding the can sideways and facing it away from me. Don't worry. I mean, it just hit like a shelf or something and bent the can a little bit. But point is, I was holding it, tilting it downwards a little bit, not enough for the alcohol to spill out, but enough for it to kind of go along the side so I can heat it up with the lighter. It's like a cheat. And it's because it's a different design. I'm trying out testing things. So, anyways, the point is, I had it tilted down, and so as it was starting to sizzle, it vaporized the alcohol, and it went into a back chamber, just like you have gunpowder in the back of the bullet that launches a little shell, like a little piece of lead. So it's sort of like the beer can's a piece of lead, and instead of using gunpowder, I vaporized alcohol, and then I accidentally ignited it a little bit unexpectedly, but kind of like you figure that's gonna happen at some point. I mean, it's not the first time I had one pop apart, but I mean, usually they just come apart at the seams, no big deal. But yeah, I mean, it did make a little cool shockwave. I was like, how did stuff fall down behind me when I didn't touch anything? It just sort of like, it was impressive. Let's just put it that way. It's good for 4th of July. It's good for certain other things. Maybe if you're in a standoff with somebody trying to do you harm, and maybe you could launch a projectile at them within 30 seconds pretty easily with a beer can and a dog food can and some alcohol. Easy enough. I'm just saying. Well, and I just ate one of my, boiled eggs only.
Huh? That's why
An-
food?
Another thing dangerous that I do, boiled eggs only last supposedly for a week, out in the open. But I guess once you boil them, technically a week. If you put it in the fridge, maybe a month. But it's been kind of refrigerator. Like it says 27 degrees on the news every morning, pretty much. Right now it says 50 degrees in my RV, so it's okay. But 50 degrees is more manageable, but it gets down to 30 something in here. Easily 32 degrees. I think I went down to the 20s inside the RV a couple times. So that's another story. But my point is so I have my special technique. Bring it to a boil. I think when you boil an egg in 30 something seconds to a minute, 30 seconds. About 30 seconds to a minute though is usually good. Bring it to a low heat. Some people just, and then leave it covered or whatever in that hot water, but just barely simmering for another 3.5 minutes. And it comes out pretty good. 5 or 6 minutes might be a little too much, but in my opinion, boom, I have it in a little bag net and I hang it up. So I just ate one just a little while ago. I need to make regular food though, but I mean, it was just like, okay, I had like 2 eggs left, and I'm like, I gotta test it out. Boom, oh, perfect, perfect. Like, what I mean, the golden yolk and everything. So I was like, cool, I have to save the last one for Edgar, and now I gotta make some more. I was just thinking of you too, and I was thinking about, I got a bunch of potatoes. I might wanna, I don't know. I made something like you could call it home fries with the little chopped up potato, chopped into diced, basically. Worked out okay. I could have cooked it more. I would have liked to have boiled it first, perhaps, and then mashed potatoes wouldn't be a bad thing either. But yeah, no Thanksgiving turkey. I got two cold rotisserie chickens in my cooler. That's the other good news is I figured out the trick to having solar panel. So a 100-watt solar panel going to a battery, basically RV battery deep cycle, going to my lights and everything else, but particularly getting it so that having refrigerator when during the day and having lights at night, kind of the goal. Managed to accomplish. The trick here is, and it's nice because there's little voltmeters on the cooler. So I got two batteries, two solar panels. The cooler uses 40 something watts. So basically, there's enough watts, to go around. So each battery has its own panel, two batteries, and I have a little lighter plug hooked up to each of those separately so that it goes to the each cooler. So they both give me a little bit different readings on each battery. So anyways, long story short is if I've noticed that if I turn it down to 30 or 25 degrees during the daytime while there's sun out, before the sun goes down and there's not enough power for that and the lights, I turn it up to 40 degrees real quick. That way I can see the voltage and I can see how the temperature is doing, and it's been pretty good at this point in time of not going above 40 degrees the whole into the morning right now. It's barely, one of them is at 37. I haven't turned it back on to down to 30 yet, but it's still perfectly within range here. So unless it's a cloudy day, I have a problem. I might have to start my car and plug into there or something instead. But my steak and my chicken, like I said, the raw chicken, I would be a little scared. But rotisserie chicken that's already cooked, that I got from the cold section instead of the hot section, straight into the cooler is pretty much safe for a month. Only a couple weeks on that one. So I'm like chicken quesadilla, maybe chicken Alfredo, some mushrooms, maybe even throw some sausage in the mix. Keep wasting my cabbages, kind of sucks. But any case, you haven't told me what's new with you in the last couple months.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time. I tried to call you, but your message thing is full, and your answer machine is full.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to fix that because I tried to delete a bunch of messages. I listened to some voicemails, and then I'm not even sure how to do that anymore. That was a while ago, but when it first got full, I was trying, and then it didn't actually work, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Something to do with the iPhone, and then I'm on an Android now, and it's sort of complicated like that. Does that make?
You don't know how to reach.
Yeah, because it used to be through iPhone iMessages or something like that, and now I'm on this phone, so it's like I just haven't tried to clear them recently because the last time I did try to clear it, I spent like an hour deleting 10, 20 messages, and then next thing you know, like listening and deleting, and next thing you know, and still messages are full. Apparently, I'm like, I give up. That was like 2 years ago. Seriously, I haven't been able to receive a voicemail for 2 years, I think. Yeah, either way, I mean, I have the other phone though. Well, I tried to call the 808 number, like this number here, but either way, I mean, in any case, it's good that we at least caught up. I was starting to get worried, like, and everything, and I was like, yeah, every so often I gotta check back, that's all.
I've been thinking of them on my list to call, but then I didn't realize I don't really have a way of calling you. So I have to wait for you to call me, yeah?
Well, I mean, it can try call me or text message me at least, and then text message works okay, but phone calls somehow do get lost a little bit. It's kind of, I do get a bunch of these bad weird numbers, but every so often there's a real person calling me, but don't really do the phone too much. But the text message, I have to check that right once in a while, and email is a little bit easy, but the phone somehow slipped through the cracks sometimes. Like, I'll check the phone, I'm like, wow, I missed 5 calls, I didn't know. And they're all usually bad. What's that? This number is, yeah, this number is a good number. Sometimes this number doesn't actually work sometimes unless I have the app open, but yeah. The other number, the 714, should be fine. You know, it seems to be working. I mean, I got to call UPS and I got to call the EBT people and make sure if there's any other documents. I think I need to, it's like a signed statement of income or something for October or something like that. That's what I usually have to do. So I got to make sure I cover all the bullet points, talk to somebody briefly. Hopefully that doesn't take long. And UPS is missing my Bluetooth piece for my solar charger controller that I've been waiting for a long time, and they ended up sending it to Hawaii, for crying out loud. They keep sending it UPS. UPS usually turns it back. This time UPS they said send it FedEx, because they sent it FedEx. There's 2 things with the same tracking number. One of them ended up at 888 Mililani Street, my old apartment. How the hell in Hawaii? And but when they finally send it by FedEx, I get the wires, I get the controller, I'm missing the Bluetooth thing, because somehow it managed to go to Hawaii instead. With the same tracking number as the thing I got at my doorstep. And so, okay, so somehow they get that managed. Then all of a sudden, it takes them a little while, but finally they get it managed, and then they're like, okay, we're going to send it out again. And I told them FedEx, but they sent it UPS, and apparently, according to the picture, that is not our front gate, and I got to call UPS, and maybe that's 1 to 2 hours of trying to see if they can give me a GPS location of that where that picture was taken, because it sure as hell ain't right here, and sure as hell nearest neighbor's a mile away. So, well, Edgar's been trying to, he pushing properties a little bit, so that's kind of good. Trying to sell some for profit or connect some dots or something. I don't know. That's sort of something at least, But yeah, apparently, his job is to get his sister out of that yellow house as soon as possible so he can claim over it, and rent it out to somebody else that's a better person. But apparently they were having chicken fights and everything inside the house. The house was destroyed, and et cetera, et cetera. Can only imagine. Oh yeah, no, Edgar's talking about fixing it up real quick too and making it livable for the next person and charging proper, couple thousand rent proper. Huh? I don't know.
Is that Bill?
No, that's Richard is the guy that owns the yellow house and a bunch of properties like the little gas station place and everything, the little market. So. Oh no, she's got to have it all, Mom. She got to have it all. She's claiming Richard's place too, as if like she got to have it all. No fucking around with that bitch, man. Yeah, so the original place that I moved at that she's got like about 20 big giant greenhouses. So supposedly she just wants the greenhouses so she can sell them and make a profit and then ditch the place because she trashed it already, and got all she can out of it, and then deal with Bill's place. But she kind of wants to have it all. So apparently Edgar kind of talked her into just take your damn greenhouses and get the hell out of there. And so I still wouldn't trust that, but okay. So anyways, it's a good time while all that's going on to kind of follow back up with that situation, sneak attack-ish, if you will. Oh, chances are the bitch is stalking right now and even probably hanging on every word of anything live that I do, you know what I mean? Looking for any little opening kind of bitch. Bullshit. But, when you lie, cheat, and steal and you have no actual skills in life, then, I don't know. Sucks for you. You got skills, I got skills. You may not be able to fix a car, but you kind of know halfway what I'm talking about when I'm talking about something's wrong with a car, right? Oh, yeah, so Edgar's truck broke, and we ended up getting another truck traded. Technically, you could say we traded ironwork. We took a piece of fence and turned it into a gate proper or something like that. Decent amount of work that was, but I guess you could say the truck, he was selling it for like $1,000, and supposedly it was a 95 according to originally, but it ended up actually being a 2005 because, well, they used different fuses, the little fuses instead of the big ones like it would be if it was a 95. But anyways, long story short, or like my car does. Long story short is a decent little Ford Ranger with the extra cab and a little bit the little beefier one. I forget what it's called, but the one that has the bigger tires and it's not so dinky looking for what it is for a Ford Ranger. And it's been pretty good to us, but we had to get smog check and of course check engine light. And similar to my old Ford Explorer, I had to get it was the what's it called? There's two little temperature sensors. One goes to the dashboard and one goes to the computer separately. And well, I'm a really good mechanic, Mom, because guess what I know? Well, you don't have smog check over there, but you hook it up to the computer. It says why the check engine light is on. It says the engine coolant temperature sensor that goes to the computer. Okay, cool. So Edgar goes and buys it, $30, right? I go to look at it and I'm like, well, that doesn't look so bad right there. And I'm like looking at the plug and I'm like, damn, that thing just sort of presses in and there's a loose O-ring. I don't know about that. I don't even, before I even take anything apart, let me take a look here. And then what I notice is that the water is below the line of where the sensor is. And so I added water and then the check engine light. And then we reset the battery. The check engine light went down. We drove it as normal as possible for the trick to get it passed. And then no check engine light. And oh yeah, the gas cap, which I don't know, bought a new gas cap for 20 something bucks, and that don't work properly either. But long story short, the fix was add water to the line where the computer can read it, and then you can pass your smog check. So actually, Edgar's got the title coming in the mail today, this afternoon for that truck. But you know, decent little truck to get just to get to town and back and do a few jobs here and there at least, you know. Instead of using my car, which I don't care to use for such things. My car is for only seeing Emma, going for basics. Not really even a special trip for beers or none of that kind of stuff. That's like if I happen to be in town for groceries and stuff, maybe beer is a part of the equation if I have extra money in my pocket. But still got that, you know, bulk in the bank for Emma, so that's fine. At least, still yet. But, you know, I mean, I managed to get by. I'm a very minimalist person. So,
That sounds like it.
but I've been actively trying to make my YouTube better, and my, you know, I'm not Facebook is whatever, but the YouTube, I don't know why, it just seems more of a professional environment or something. And then there's TikTok, which basically is a little, they cry about everything, and half the time community guideline violations. I mean, I was just playing with fire, holding it in my hand with the cardboard thingy, outer part. But I'm trying to make a rocket stove, and that part's on the outer shell. The cardboard did get torched from the secondary burn hole, you know, ports. I don't know. It seemed like it, but I did have it working pretty good. Like I did get a tornado twisting flame shooting from, you know, shooting up 2-3 feet, just safe enough. But yeah, so I've been having fun trying to keep warm and try out new ways to cook properly. The last thing I built kind of just sort of ended up being more like candle, kind of trying to go down on the flame, not have this giant amount of flame going on. And mostly I'm using cookie cans, and I got it full of dirt, you know, so it can kind of be safe and surrounded by concrete, little pieces of brick rather. Which has also been my friend. I noticed, Mom, a very important thing. If you ever have to deal with extreme cold like me, and you happen to have a stove of any kind available, and you happen to have a brick, tell you what, and a blanket, you know, you're done. Keep you real warm without even, you know, you just, so in other words, like when it hits about 42, 43 degrees, I put a piece of brick, random broken piece of concrete that's not too big, then I put it on the stove, and low heat, and I flip it over, and I move it around so it fits because the flame is kind of, you know, only 4 inches, so the thing is like 8 inches almost. But anyways, I move it around, and next thing you know, I've got a warm brick, and sometimes it's a little too hot, but you just wrap it in a towel, blanket, or whatever else, and usually I have my pants, so it's like, you know, I just put it on my pants is good enough, not too bad, but you know, you just get it nice and warm, and keeps you warm for at least an hour or two before it goes cold again after less than a couple minutes, you know, on the stove. So yeah, that's really been working out for me. Instead of using a bunch of propane for a heater or don't have electricity for an electric heater, and well, burning a wood burning stove indoors does kind of, till I get this smokeless thing properly and and get more used to burning wood. I got cardboard and stuff that I tried to test burn, and I don't feel like I want to do that too much. So I'm not there yet. It's cold outside and windy sometimes. So, oh yeah, my windmill apparently eventually I tied it up really good, the post, but I guess the wind was strong enough to blow against that windmill over 200 pounds worth of force. Because I would swear I'm about 150 pounds, and I could stand on top of that post and it would have held my weight just fine, you know? Granted, I wouldn't like just try too hard, but I'm just saying I would feel comfortable if the thing held 150 pounds. Nope. One night, the wind was blowing 80 to 120 miles per hour apparently, and one good freaking boom, like, must have been 250, 300 pounds or something like that to push it and to break the damn blades or whatever happened. Oh, anyways, yeah, so it's not the end of the world. The rest of the main unit's okay. I just probably need to pay like $20 to $40 for new blades maybe or something, or make my own, and it'll be fine. And tie it up extra good this time. Like triple extra good instead of just double extra good, you know. Maybe quadruple or extra 5 point tie points, so it's really good. But I had like three tie points really good, and it was, like I said, it would hold my weight. I didn't expect, oh goodness, you know, look at that wind. Surprising more damage didn't occur beyond that. But yeah, that wind, it was doing really good at like 60 mile per hour, 70 mile per hour winds. I noticed, you know, I get those 40 mile per hour, no problem. But this was like a whole different sound, like, oh no, and eventually something had to give. So, like I said, it was well over 150 pounds worth of pushing against the fucking thing. Oh fuck you! No, that's gonna. It was. I thought it was okay at up to about 150 to 200 pounds, where the wind's pushing on it, it should be fine. Guess what? Uh, for all I know, 300 or 400 pounds, you know, might have pushed against the wind, just air pushing against. Snap goes the little ouchie. But yeah, I'm still doing, got food, I mean, I've been really laying off the beer. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to control it and I've been really good about not spending extra money on food or anything else than I need to. And Edgar's been kind of actually having to tighten his belt too because the dogs, you know, cost a lot of money. If you can imagine, $35 every 2 days for a 40-pound bag of dog food. Essentially, that's the average, yeah.
That.
That's pretty, yeah, well, you know, 10 plus dogs, right? Puppies and all, etc. It's a little bit much.
That's great.
It is. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't help you there, buddy. No, I don't need anything. I mean, I go into town maybe once a month. Barely, I've been known to like not leave the front door of my RV for 7 or more days straight. Like, because I just don't need to. Especially after I heard that loud crash, I just couldn't bear to see what's going on outside when I got cleaning up to do inside, you know, little by little. It's not super worth it, but I mean, I do need space to live and move around a little bit, so it gets cluttered and I need to organize and make sense of the mess. I mean, I'm pretty good about taking all my plastic bags, putting in one thing, taking plastic loose trash that's just useless into another bag, and then food trash into a box or something like so. Whatever. And then cardboard and paper goes in sort of its own little pile, you know. So it's trying to keep those piles in check is the only. Well, it's not impossible.
Well,
It's just a small space, so it's hard. It's like you put one thing here, and then you're trying to organize that over there, and then it's like you got to dig from there, but now that's piled on top of there now. Well, it's like very similar to your storage room was, you know. Let's put it that way. But it's the actual living room. There's a nice trail and a bunch of piles of boxes, but I did try to make my shelves good as I could, so not so bad. But yeah, I mean, at least you've moved. I mean, we left off. You moved. You don't have enough space. You've been trying to still manage stuff. Are you completely out of Wally's, etc.? Like,
I've been out of Wally's for a long time now, for months or months.
yeah,
I was out of Wally's.
I think you were
I
still.
had to be up by,
Well, that's how long it's
I
been.
think by April 1st or something.
I think that's how long it's been.
So I was, yeah, I've been up with you talk, because I was in this awful, because I had so much stuff that I had to move in a short period of time,
Right.
I temporarily moved to one of the Hongwen G houses. I think it's got to be used instead, yeah.
Right.
And there for 6 months and actually 7 months because when the 6 months were up, I didn't want to renew because I was paying $2,200 a month.
Of course.
So my savings down tremendously. It's gone down to 1/3 of what it was,
Wow.
and so yeah, because it's the cost of the move, paying people to help and stuff like that. Yeah,
It really does add up, I tell you.
and
I don't want to move.
very stressful time at that other place because I had a roommate. Yeah,
Yeah.
I paid $2,200 a roommate who's demanding of a lot of things and very crazy. Anyway,
That's where we
I
left
had
off
a
at.
very,
No, we
very
left off, it was all good.
trouble.
At that point, it was all good. Everything was good the last time I talked to you, I
Huh?
think. Everything was all happy days still yet when I last talked to you. With the roommate thing.
Oh, really? Was it?
At one
Oh, I
point,
had a horrible 7 months. I mean, that was a nightmare for me. Got another. I only had my outdoor cat left because the other ones I had to give away. I had
I
to
kind
give
of.
away because they were indoor cats and we couldn't make them move. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was I had to give up cats, and then I had the one cat that moved with me, but she's the one that's the what kind of semi. She's not a real tame cat. Yeah. I mean, she's
Well,
a nervous cat.
I wouldn't say
So
anybody would call me tame.
she was it.
I'm not a cat, but just saying.
No.
I'm a bit of a wild animal myself, so I can
Okay.
appreciate that. That's all I was saying. My dog was a bit of a wild dog.
Wild, that's the case. Whenever you live in the wild, that's the case. And so,
Well, my dog
anyway,
was a
so
nice
she
mix.
moved with me in the indoor cat outside. And then I found there was a kitten stranded outside our area, like where I was. You remember Malama Market, right?
Of course.
I was sitting right directly behind it.
Right. That's where we left off.
Yeah, so that place is a busy street there, yeah?
Very.
Busy street.
I almost got run over many times, yes. Just crossing the street.
And the kitten was up on the embankment by our place.
Right.
So, rescue. That was a good God story though, because that was really neat because she would go to Kona. She has an apartment in Kona too that she goes to, like a low income apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And she so sometimes on the weekend she would go, which was really nice for me because I had a break, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But kitten crying for a couple of days. Mother would come for it. So one morning I came out and the kitten finally came out of hiding,
Right.
and I knew he was in trouble because he didn't have food or water for a couple of days, right? So he was only 5 weeks old, and he was abandoned. And so I went out like at 6 or 6:30 in the morning because I could hear him crying.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out and I saw what, and I knew I couldn't get up that embankment to get him. I couldn't get him.
Yeah, I get you.
So, but I was worried because he couldn't. Not only was he starving, but he couldn't. If he came down, he could get hit, right? By
Yeah.
a car. So, anyway, I said. So I did a prayer and I said, God, I need help right now. I need somebody to help me get that kitten down. And do you know, I turned around and there was a friend of mine walking up the street,
Yep.
a guy, and he came and helped me get the kitten down. So now I have a kitten. Well, now so I moved to Anne Marie's house with 2 cats,
Okay.
indoor cats, because both of them had been indoor at the other place. And I moved them here, but Anne Marie wasn't really happy having them here because the litter, even though I don't use regular litter, I use pellet, which is way better smell-wise.
Yeah, they got that
But
fancy stuff
yeah,
too, but got the robot.
she has that. No, I know, but she has no, but you can't afford that. That's like
Mm.
$300-400.
No. I mean, we won at the
So
racetrack. I
anyway,
spent a quarter of that on refrigeration and batteries and solar panels. Sorry, that's my budget, and I spent some back on Edgar. Spent some on pay Luen something, at least, and etc. Not much else though. But yeah, I budgeted nice. You
no,
taught me well. You taught me how to take care of the
you get
basics. You know, obviously, I'm doing well in that regards.
much well considering what you've got to deal with. But anyway,
Perishables. Yep.
so uh, I ended up moving to Emery's with the cats, and they were in my room. I have one room. I have part of my clothes hanging in one closet, part in the other closet, but and my drawers in another room. I
Wow.
don't have a drawers really. I don't. I'm just borrowing drawers from Emery. Yeah. So I don't have bed. I don't have a bedroom set because I ended up it had termites.
Ouch.
So I had to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a ouch. That was a big ouch. And so I don't really have a bedroom, a bed, I mean, I'm using Anne-Marie's, but I don't have a bed set of my own. I don't have a dining table of my own.
And
I
the
have living room furniture. That's about it. And so you know, I'm managing. It's not easy because I have most of my stuff in storage. I have two huge storage units that I'm renting
ouch.
so that I can keep my stuff. Yeah, that's another ouch
So the
because those are $700 a month.
massage therapy office
Huh?
is in limbo at the moment then,
I
or do you
doing
have
that now.
like? I mean, I would think you kind of
I
still manage to portably
okay.
travel like you
I
used
can't,
to.
no, I don't. I never did portable travel.
Yeah, you did. You
It's
used to
too
all
hard
that.
for me to carry.
Yeah, no, you used to be able to carry
Yeah,
the
I can't
massage
carry
table around, but you don't.
that.
Not anymore, maybe. But yeah, once upon a time, you used to carry the massage table around here and there, like Salisbury,
No,
Arthur.
I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
When
You used to have a
I
station wagon for a reason.
did it, never did that. I always had an office.
Well, yeah, no, but there was
I
a
always
time where you would take it to the massage table in the back of the station wagon to some place to do work.
yeah,
So
but that worked on the guy down in South. I mean down in
yeah, that was
with
Arthur
hotels
Salisbury,
and
for
stuff.
instance. I think that was one of those
Yeah,
guys.
that's
They're special
that was
clients. I'm
the
just
only time I ever. I never was one of those that traveled to places.
no, just once in a while. I
Uh,
remember there was a table in the back. Had to go somewhere for a reason.
he was the only one I ever did that for.
But I do remember that
And
it was an option once upon a time.
no, it's not option for me at 76. It's
Yeah,
not even close. And so, as a matter of fact, I can't even do as many people a day as I used to. Yeah.
that's the thing.
So,
It was supposedly live for
I'm at a
7 hours. It
retirement.
says 5. What's that?
My problem is,
Yep.
I can't because most establishments here are licensed. Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm between license right now because this was the first year that they required us to do another whole 12 CE points
Wow.
of so more classes. Yeah. And we had to do that by June 30th in
Wow.
order to keep up. So right now I'm not licensed at the moment, but I took a leave of absence because you could pay a certain thing and then they'll extend you. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm on an extension. I don't have my license right now, so I can't work at licensed establishments. Yeah.
What about
So
art?
right now I'm betwixt in between working. I'm working on a few clients that come from Monaco,
Right.
and we go to the park. I've been in the park once in a while.
That's something. That's something at
Over
least.
here.
No, that's at
Huh?
least that's something at least. I mean, I would figure maybe you might get back into art too in
Yeah.
that situation. Go to the
No,
beach
I
and
don't
paint
even have a
something.
place to do anything. I have one. I have one room. There's no room anywhere else. There's no room even for my table to be in this house.
Well, no, not. I mean, I'm
So
just saying.
I'm gonna have to look for. Right now, I'm trying to help Anne Marie, but she's been in so much pain with her lupus.
Right.
I'm not her lupus. I don't say that. It's not hers. It's not hers. But anyway, she's had the lupus, and so it's been really, really, it causes a tremendous amount of pain in her whole body, like 10 plus kind pain in her whole body. And her doctor doesn't give her enough pain medicine.
Well, maybe it's the wrong pain medicine. I mean,
so she has to go about 3 or 4 days a month with no pain medicine. And she's having a terrible time. So I'm trying to help as much as I can. I walk the dog 3 or 4 times a day, and I take care of dishes, take care of all the emptying trash and all that kind of stuff. Anne Marie, we have Destiny and her boyfriend living with us in one of the rooms. Yeah.
Right.
And he helps with some of the heavy lifting. Although still, Anne Marie and I do most of our own lifting. Yeah, we do most of our own. But he and his friends helped us move to the to my storage places. But my storage places are out in KL.
Oh wow.
So
yeah.
Right. So anyway, it's hard because I'm betwixt and between. So come probably the end of the year, I'm going to try to, as soon as I can, but probably toward the end of the year because right now Anne-Marie needs me, yeah?
Yeah.
So I got to move into my own place. I have to find a way to find a place that I can afford because now I'm really down to just my $1,600 a month, yeah?
It's a budget.
And the rents are $1,500 to $2,000. If I wanted to rent a regular place, a regular house, I would have to pay $1,500 to $2,000. And I'm only making $1,600 with my Social Security. So I got a problem because I have to find a house that I can live in, and then I have to find a place to work. Yeah.
Yep.
So I clean everything. So I'm at the moment. I can't have anything else. I only have one small room. And there's not even room to put my massage table in. Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't have any space, and so I'm going to have to find a. But I still want to be close to Anne Marie so that I can help her. Yeah.
Well, she's in Hilo, right?
Yeah, I'm in Hilo too.
So now, obviously, Hilo's the most.
Okay, so I was going to move to the other place, and I had to move to Hilo.
That was kind of.
Places to go. All the places out in my Honoka and stuff, 2,000 and up, or at the least like one apartment for $1,500.
Well, I mean, you got to be proud of me.
Small apartment.
You got to be proud of me at $200 a year property tax. It's
No. You have to live off the grid, and you have to come up with all kinds of solutions. You have no sense of you really
I create them. I'm actually really good. I'm actually a lot more comfortable here than I was in living in somebody else's house, regardless, anybody else's house. Nevertheless, I hate fucking neighbors. No, the nearest neighbor is a mile away. You don't really hear or see them much at all. It's a dirt road, a mile to the nearest telephone pole or paved road. And yeah, this for me is, I mean, once I had it, it's like I could never go back to living in Irvine where Luann pays $3,000 a month rent, $2,600 plus whatever else I'm sure, etc. comes out in the neighborhood. She makes that $60 an hour, so she's okay like that, you know. She can afford everything. She can afford whatever. I mean, anything she wants. She can make it work, but she can't necessarily afford no mortgage out nowhere in California that she would like to live. Of course, there's always a sacrifice, like you said. You know, I mean, it's like I make this work. this works for me. I mean, I have to bring in my own water. Refill water bottles is very economical. John is pretty much losing his, because the city is really after his butt about the mulch dumping illegally, supposedly. So the whole community and everybody's really And now it's down on the landlord, and I guess I don't know about his rent, like being late on rent or whatever. But let's just put it this way: it's not looking good for John to have that ranch no more. Which is you see that one coming from a mile away. I would almost like to say, hey, the day that you freaking really supported Noemi on get your RV out of here, the next day after you got hit with a baseball bat, I would not see that as good karma, buddy. Sorry, can't get around that one. It was that. This is almost. You don't have a whole motherfucker to Chris as well. Guess what? Goes around, comes around, kid. If you're gonna support that theory and I'm in the wrong, well, I personally, I can safely say, God probably does not smile on such. So yeah, probably. And then Noemi thinks she's a witch. She has an altar and everything to do curses on people that she can't take advantage of or something like that. I don't know. From what I can tell, it's just a matter of add me to the collection of boy toys. She's got her little Frank and her Jose, etc. So she's like add to her collection, like she has a collection of dogs or something. And well, milk him for all he's worth. I wasn't. You know.